Hey, everybody. Oh, I got to. We're going to get started in just a second. Hi, Brian.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Hey, y'all.
We'll get started in just a second. The chair had to step out for just a second. So just give us
Okay.
1 second and we'll get started.
Ready?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, good morning. It is 9:04 and I'd like to call the meeting to order. Ebony, would you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Brian Bennett,
Here.
Miss Meredith Jordan,
Here.
Dr. Meta. Here. And Miss Elena Satchery.
Here.
Okay, you have 4 and you have a quorum.
Okay. Just want to remind everyone of a few rules for the committee members and members of the public attending. And do we have anyone in the public attending?
Yeah, we have
Okay.
public members.
Public attending in person, please raise your hand to speak and wait to be recognized by the chair before speaking. To help the meeting run smoothly, please keep side conversations to a minimum and comments related to the topic we are discussing. For those committee members who are attending virtually, remember you must be on camera and have your first and last name showing to be counted toward our quorum. Please keep your microphones muted unless called upon by the chair. Electronically raise your hand to request to speak and wait to be called on by the chair. For attendees, electronically raise your hand and hand to request to speak. Once recognized by the chair, your microphone will be turned on. After speaking, the microphone will be returned to mute. Also, the Q&A is to only be used by those needing an ADA accommodation to participate in the meeting. Public comment will not be accepted by the Q&A except for those individuals who requested the accommodation. As for order, committee members in person and virtually will be allowed to speak first. Public members in person will then be called on, followed by public participating virtually who have their hands raised. Comments in the Q&A will be addressed last. As with all hybrid meetings, it can be difficult to keep track of all those wanting to speak in person and virtually, so please be patient. All comments and questions from committee members and the public may be limited to 3 minutes or less, should be run into time constraints, so please keep that in mind. All comments about a person's character will not be allowed. Finally, members of the public will have the opportunity to provide public comment before each vote and during designated public comment periods. The chair may also use their discretion to determine if comments will be accepted outside of those times. We're here today because this committee will be discussing and considering council members who have expressed interest in being part of the new executive committee of the council who will serve from October 2025 to October 2027. The positions on the executive committee include the chairperson, vice chairperson, the chair of the Self-Determination and Community Inclusion Committee, chair of the Education and Employment Committee, and member at large. By the end of the meeting today, the committee will make recommendation for the members of the next executive committee for the full council to vote on at the July council meeting.
Jill has her hand raised, so I'm not sure if she has a question. Do you want to recognize her?
Yeah.
Okay. We can tell her she has the floor.
Hey, Jill, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Hi everybody. How
Okay.
are y'all today?
Hey, Jill.
I was looking at the applicants, and I see that some people are being considered for two positions. How is that fair?
Well, Jill, he actually asked, I think you're referring to Tony. Whenever he expressed interest, he did express interest for both the chair and the vice chair. So it's up to the committee if they want to, if they decide to, I guess,
Vote on one.
vote on one, yeah.
For the next, it
Right,
doesn't.
yes. So it's really up to the nominating committee whether or not they want to consider him for both the positions or just one. So I just wanted to make sure I gave the committee the information that I
Okay,
received.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that was. I didn't know that was allowed. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Okay, so first on the agenda is the consideration of council members interested in positions on the executive committee. All council members were given until June 11th to express interest in the positions on the executive committee. At this time, Ebony, can you please display all the members who have asked to be considered for the positions on the executive committee?
and I know that's kind of small, so I'll try to blow it up. In just a second, if I can find the right tool to zoom in. Yeah, they changed Adobe on us, so now I don't know where the buttons are. Oh, here we go. I think this might be it. Nope.
Look, down at the bottom right, you see the magnifying glass
yes.
plus sign in it?
Yes,
Try
thank you.
that.
There it is.
This is very different though.
All the way
Yeah.
in the bottom.
There it goes. Okay.
Is it getting bigger?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I don't know if that's big enough. Can you see it, Brian?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we had 3 members interested in chair, 2 members interested in vice chair, and 1 member interested in the self-determination community inclusion chair, 1 member interested in education employment committee chair, and no one interested in the member at large position. There were 2 individuals who expressed interest after the deadline, including Pascal
Yeah. that's how you say it.
Nguyen.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't want to butcher her name. And Eric Taylor. One of the members interested in chair, Vivian Webb, also stated that she would be interested in any position on the executive committee. So the committee will take those individuals into consideration for recommendations as well. I would like to also point out that the council bylaws have been included in the committee packets, which lists the duties and responsibilities of the council offers and the executive committee. These duties can be found in Article 5 and Article 7 of the bylaws. Ebony, would you please give us more details about the information included in the chart?
Yes, so I tried to include everybody's role, just if they were either a self-advocate or a parent advocate, what role they played on the council. I know a lot of the committee members here are still fairly new, and you guys haven't had an opportunity to meet everyone. So I wanted to make sure I gave you as much information as possible. I also wanted to point out the appointment dates for everybody that it wanted to be considered for a position. So I know you guys are kind of wondering if if their term expires this year, how are they able to run? Well, according to our bylaws, if they have an officer position, even if their term expires, they're allowed to continue until their officer term expires or their term on the executive committee expires. So I don't want you guys to worry about term expirations. If you offer that person, or if you guys recommend to the council, someone whose term is about to expire, if the council accepts that person, the term will be extended until the end of their appointment on the executive committee. Also, I kind of wanted to point out attendance because I think that's important to consider whenever you guys are looking at officers. So if they missed a council meeting, it's in there. These are meetings that they have missed. So Tony, if you look at Tony, for example, I won't go through everyone. Tony missed 3 council meetings and 1 committee meeting. However, if you look at the bottom, I have 2 stars by one of the council meetings. That was a council meeting in January 2024 where we had an ice storm, and it was very difficult for a lot of the council members to attend that meeting. We actually had to cancel all of the committee meetings on the Wednesday before the full council met. And so a lot of members were, especially the ones up north, they had a hard time driving down. So if you'll notice, Vivian Webb, who's in the Shreveport area, she wasn't able to drive down. Renata Washington, who's in the Lake Charles area, she wasn't able to get here either because of that ice storm. It was just icy conditions on the roads, and members just felt not comfortable driving. So I did want to make sure you guys took that into consideration. So if they have 2 stars, if they missed the council meeting, that means one of those council meetings was that January 2024 meeting. And you guys can just take that into consideration that there was an ice storm then. I also wanted to point out the LACAN activity. Of course, LACAN is the council's advocacy network, and you guys choose an agenda every year. And so, of course, it is important that our council members participate in our LACAN activities that happen throughout the year. And so just to point out a few activities that council members can attend, we have our legislative roundtables, which occur usually at the end of January to about March, right before the session starts. And then we also have legislative visits. We have a LACAN leader in each of our regions, and our LACAN leaders make sure that they reach out to our council members and let them know when the legislative visits are going to occur in their region, to meet with their regional delegation, but also to make sure they make connections with their actual representatives and senators to build those relationships. So legislative visits, and then there's also action alerts. We actually sent out an action alert yesterday. I'm going to plug because the Senate did pass the reconciliation bill, and it is going back to the House. So whenever you see action alerts, this is an opportunity to call senators, representatives. We're doing it on the federal level. So now we're reaching out to our federal representatives, our congressmen. So make sure you guys reach out to them about our Medicaid issue, but action alerts are just easy ways members can send either emails or make a quick phone call just to let a legislator know how an issue is going to affect them. And then lastly, our yellow shirt days. So yellow shirt days are at the Capitol. We had them all throughout session this year. And I could probably give you guys the total. I had that written down, but I forgot it. The total, so you guys would know how many yellow shirt days we had compared to how many, like, some members have attended, how many action alerts we had compared to how many members have responded to. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys like where everybody was. So again, I'll use Tony as an example. So he attended one legislative visit this past session. So that is between, this session was a fiscal only session. So it started in April and it ended in June. So he had one legislative visit. He responded to 3 action alerts. Renata, compared to Tony, she attended her roundtable and she responded to 1 action alert. So this is only LACAN activity from 2025. I didn't take into consideration since they've been on the council. So let me go back to attendance real quick. That attendance is since they've been on the council. So if you look at their appointment dates, since they've been on, this is how many meetings they've been absent for. And then lastly is the last column was the leadership experience. If you'll notice, I just kind of put some things that they might have mentioned because whenever we asked for interest, we asked for individuals to put past leadership experience or give examples of past leadership experience if they wanted the committee to take that into consideration. And so these are what the people that are interested in these positions have given. So you guys can read through their leadership experience. Some of them have been partners grads. Some of them have participated in YLF, or they've been staff at YLF. And then just going back, I do kind of want to give a shout out to Jill. I don't know if you guys have noticed already, but for attendance, Jill has had perfect attendance for our council meetings. So congratulations, Jill, on your perfect attendance.
2017.
I only looked for those 4 years. So yeah, she's had perfect attendance. So just wanted to give a shout out for that. So good job, Jill, on your perfect attendance. But that's kind of all I wanted to explain. So Elena, you can take it.
Okay.
I can answer any questions if anybody has any.
Yeah, do we have any questions from the committee members? Good. And are there any questions from the members of the public? Nope.
I want to say, it was really helpful to see, because the bylaws are very clear about the duties and the responsibilities. So like thinking about the importance of these roles too, and what these roles entail, I think are really important when putting together all of this information you gave us on the chart alongside like what the duty calls for. Has been really helpful, Ebony, like just to have everything I feel like we need sort of at our fingertips for today.
Great. Yeah, I'm really happy it's helpful. I really wanted to make it easy for you guys. I know a lot of the committee members are still new, so I wanted to kind of give you guys as much information as I could to help you guys make a recommendation to the full council. But it does look like we have a hand up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did you have another question?
I was going to say for the member at large, so no one applied voluntarily. For that member at large role, first of all, can you explain a little bit more what that role is for this purpose? And then could it be this committee's decision that even though there's no one who applied, that out of these folks that we look at today and consider, that if there is someone that we felt like as a committee would be a good representative of this, could we bring that to the council? First of all, saying to that person, are you willing? And then this would be our recommendation.
Right.
We didn't have an applicant, but we feel like this person would be a good fit for that. Yeah. For that role.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And I did discuss it with the parliamentarian yesterday because I wanted to make sure since no one expressed interest before the deadline or by the deadline of that June 11th deadline, she said that, yes, as a committee, you guys could consider the individuals that asked to be considered for any position. But you also can consider anyone that's on this list. But Elena also kind of spoke earlier about the other two individuals, the other two council members that expressed interest after that June 11th deadline. So I didn't get any of the information from them, but it's Eric Taylor. And I could, if you guys go into executive session, I could go and grab his information as far as his appointment dates, his attendance, his LaCan activity. And then Pascal Nguyen, she also expressed interest. So I could grab her information as well. But just to give you a little bit more information about that particular position, Meredith, the member at large is the voice of the council on the executive committee. Since the executive committee has to meet at times when there's not enough time for the full council to meet, that member at large, whenever they're discussing things within the executive committee or whenever they're taking a vote, they should be the voice of the rest of the council members who can't be there. So they should definitely take into they should be building those relationships with everybody on the council. So if there is an executive committee called outside of a council meeting, a quarterly council meeting, that person has those relationships where they can call, hey, we're going to talk about this issue. What do you guys think about this? So that their vote can represent the vote of the full council. Does that kind of answer the question or give you a little bit more information? Okay. I see we have a hand raised. Is Ms. Brenda Kosey?
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Kosey, you have the floor.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you all for having this committee meeting. The chart is just excellent. Thank you so much. I did want some clarity on that attendance. Did you say this is just the attendance for 2025 or since they've been serving?
Yes, ma'am. It's since they've been serving. Which is why I included the appointment date so everyone could see when their appointment started.
Yeah.
And then when it ends. So like for Renata Washington, for example, her term started September 2022. So since she started, she's missed 2 council meetings and 2 committee meetings. However, just keep in mind that one of those council meetings was that July 2024 meeting when it was very icy conditions on the roads and some of the council members didn't feel safe driving down for that particular council meeting. So I just wanted to make sure that the committee could take that into consideration whenever they're looking at those absences or their attendance overall.
Okay, and I see the 2025 Lacan activity. I did want to emphasize that when I served, this is very important that we have leadership that is engaging on all levels of the LADDC. And that they are representing not just in their community, but on the state level. And also thank you for that explanation of the at-large position.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, should we take into account how long they've been serving? For example, 2023, 25, and Vivian 21. 25, so 2 years a difference on the council.
Yeah, that's up to the committee. You can definitely take that into consideration. I will say that I think you're referring to Tony. Tony was on the council prior to this term that he's serving. And also he was filling a vacant position. So he's just filling it. That's why it's not a full 4 years. So he was filling a vacant position. So just kind of keep that into consideration too. But if you guys have other questions like that, just let me know. Jill, I don't know. I saw your hand raised. I don't know. You put it down, so I didn't know if you still had a question, but I see you. Oh, thank you, Ms. Kosey. Did we answer all of your questions?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was on the phone when y'all gave me a shout out, but I do appreciate it. Although it's no big deal, I just have no life.
Well, Jill, I wanted to make sure that we gave you that shout out. That's a very, very great accomplishment to have perfect attendance all of your time.
A week. 2 days a week and I work on Thursdays. So I get up every council meeting.
Gotcha.
And then I have another concern, and I'm not I'm curious because I might change my position. If Brooke still wanted to be the SDCI chair, I can move as a rep, as an applicant for chair. I just don't want her to like jump. I didn't want I don't want to take over anybody's like hopes and dreams.
Well,
I don't know what that was. Like, cause I know that cause I think I didn't, I don't know, cause I was kind of confused to why she was going for EE chair when she's on self-determination.
well, I don't think you're stepping on her toes, Jill. I mean, she may just feel like she's interested. And I don't want to give information about people's personal lives, but I think
No.
she is interested because she does have a stake in the education system right now. I'll just keep it at that. So I don't think you're stepping on her toes or anything. And I think the committee will take that into consideration, that you're willing also, as some of the other applicants, willing to take any position on the executive committee, but I don't think you're stepping on her toes.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Well, I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry.
Well, no, you're okay. You're okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you knew you weren't taking over her position or a position that she wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Eric Taylor, member at large. And that's all I got. Sorry, not sorry.
Okay,
I'm
and
sorry. Some more questions. Next on the agenda is interviews and discussion of council members interested in executive committee positions. Since most of the members on this committee are fairly new, council staff recommended the committee conduct interviews together rather than assigning each interested member to one individual on the committee. Interviewing together will allow the committee to make committee members a chance to get to know each applicant in order to make recommendations to the full council. Each interested council member has been scheduled a time to meet with the committee to conduct an interview. However, due to the sensitive nature of the discussion, which could include information members may not want to share to the public in a public meeting and discussion about a member's character, I will now make a motion to move into executive session.
Well, they have, one of them have.
Can somebody make a motion to move into?
I'll make a motion to move into executive session for this item.
The second.
A second. Okay.
So is there any discussion?
Is there any discussion? Is there any public comment? Okay. Based on the updated public meeting law, we will now do a roll call.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, we have to do one.
Okay.
Okay, so I can do one for you.
Okay,
All right, a yes vote is to move into executive session. A no vote would be not to move into executive session. Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett, yes. Ms. Jordan,
Yes.
Ms. Jordan, yes. Dr. Mehta,
Yes.
Dr. Mehta, yes. So that is 3-0.
okay. The motion to move into executive session has passed by a vote of 3-0. Okay,
So we'll let the public know once the committee moves back into the public meeting. And Brian, I'll send you the link for the executive session.